The IDF has demanded that residents of southern Lebanon evacuate from their region as Israeli forces expand their presence. The IDF has issued similar orders for Beirut as it targets the national capital with strikes. With more on the Israeli operation, RT's Charlotte Dubinsky reports from Jerusalem.
As you heard, those fresh evacuation orders for the south of Beirut early on Thursday morning, the results of that already. And that comes hot on the heels of evacuation orders for all Lebanese citizens in the south of the country, anybody south of the Litani River. That is around 850 square kilometers worth of territory. They have been told they needed to flee. Again, not being given any specific time before the IDF were going to launch any strikes there. We're talking around 10% of the population. That is hundreds of thousands of people told that if they stay in the south that they are putting themselves in danger. This is as Hezbollah and Iran are apparently launching coordinated attacks for the first time. That is according to the IDF. Let's just listen to what the IDF has said about those evacuation orders.
Hezbollah attacking, alongside the attacks from Iran, is further evidence that Hezbollah is an extension of Iran. As I said, there are no equations. We will not allow attacks from Lebanese territory, and we will not allow harm to IDF forces.
Well, the IDF says this is about defensive action. It needs to create a buffer zone to support its own citizens in the north of its country. But let's be clear, this is a buffer zone that is in the territory of another country, in Lebanon. And that is illegal under international law. Now, we know that ground operations were already there in Lebanon. We know the IDF had positions in at least 5 villages in the south, has done since at least since the ceasefire was signed back in 2024 with Hezbollah. We know that it has razed buildings there, and now it seems they're expanding that in, and it appears that the IDF now have positioned troops across the border with Lebanon in the north of Israel, in Lebanese territory. Now, we were in the north the other day and we saw huge amounts of operational equipment heading to the north, including D9 Caterpillar bulldozers, which have been used extensively by the IDF to pull down to buildings, to remove them. And we have seen it using that type of capability in Lebanon already. Just to give you a sense of how big this operation is, which the IDF say isn't a full-scale ground invasion, we're talking about 100,000 plus reservists that have been called up to take part in this operation. This is huge, and we are now into the 4th day of this particular action. IDF strikes against Hezbollah points. They say these are points where there are military caches or the launch sites of rockets. And throughout the night again, residents in the north of Israel getting those alerts from sirens that potential rockets are coming in from Hezbollah, and also the infiltration of drones. Now, I said this is about creating a defensive buffer zone. That is the official word here in Israel, and that's something that even the opposition leader is saying is playing out here.
We need to ensure that the people of the northern border live in security, and they won't have security if Hezbollah, or even a hint of Hezbollah, remains across the border. If this involves creating a sterile zone, let them create a sterile zone. If this involves entering Lebanon, we must enter Lebanon. Hezbollah must be eliminated to provide security to the residents of this area.
Well, Hezbollah would also say that its firing of rockets, its launching of drones is also a defensive posture. It has said this is retaliation for the killing of Iran's supreme leader. Hezbollah widely seen as being a proxy of Iran in Lebanon. Now, we know from Hezbollah, it says that its rockets have reached as far down as Tel Aviv, and we have seen the results of some of the rockets that have hit at least in the north of the country. Yet, for the moment, no injuries, no casualties as a result of that. But Hezbollah has decried what Israel is doing as being a criminal action, and it has vowed that it will continue its own defense of the people in Lebanon, and it will continue the fight against Israel.